Hello, Zach. This is your recording for the week of August 10th through August 19th. And this is a recap of your first lesson. So we'll get right into it. The first thing we went over was this sheet, the fingering sheet. And you may recall that it's probably a good idea for you to go ahead and on these blank lines down below, go ahead and copy the notes as written and label them as labeled to help train your brain about the note names and notation. The next thing we went over was, of course, the overall fingering, and just some of the things to keep in mind as you practice throughout the week. Fingers straight, right? You don't want this back thumb to be pushing like this. You want to try and have it kind of touching off to the side. If you must put it this way for some reason, you definitely don't want to have that death grip on the chanter. If you do, you're going to get sore in here, and you'll know it. Same thing goes for the thumb, high A thumb, that is the left thumb. You don't want to be pushing too hard on that high A in the back. Easier said than done, but things to be aware of. Try to keep those relaxed. The very first thing we went over was the scale. You were able to do the scale from low G to high A, and this is on page 10 of the Green Tutor. And so just as a reminder, you want to keep it nice and even and slow, getting your transitions down, and that'll take some time. What you're looking for is something like this. 1, 2. And you'll notice I counted that out with a beat of 1, 2 to give you a rhythm, a tempo. And that would be something that you can do on your own, is set a tempo with your metronome and see how that goes for you. You want to try and keep things even. If the metronome is distracting, you don't have to use it. The next thing we reviewed was we looked at the G, D, E triplets, so we're jumping ahead. This was page 20 where you went from the bottom of the scale all the way up and then come back down. I'm not sure if we did that, so I'll do that right now, and then we'll jump to triplets. So page 20, scale starting from the bottom, going up and coming back down, would be like this. 1, 2. Remembering not to tongue when you play. We don't do tonguing in piping. And to remember to blow as long as you can. When you do take a breath, pause at the note that you stopped at. Don't play any other notes. Don't move your fingers. Take your breath and then resume playing from that note so you get all the transitions audible. The next thing we looked at was grace notes. Specifically, we took a look at some G, D, E triplets. This is on page 22. And at the beginning, it advises you to start on low G, and it's just G grace note, D grace note, E grace note. So that's left pointer finger, right pointer finger, and then ring finger on the left hand. So it's like this pattern. Okay, and that sounds like this. And you may recall that we don't want to be starting up too fast. If you get to the point where what the tempo just played there was comfortable, feel free to make a speed exercise out of that. And that's where you ramp up the speed. But you always want to start slowly and then ramp up the speed. And you can play the G, D, E triplets on low G, low A, B, and C. Okay? And then the last thing we looked at was from the Rhythmic Fingering book. And this is page 10 of that book, and you have a printout of this, and it's really the first line and maybe going over to the middle of the second line. And these are transitions from every note in the scale from low G up to that note is what I'm asking you to do right now. The remainder of the exercise moves on to other notes. So that should sound something like this, and you can always change the tempo to suit yourself. 1, 2. And I made a mistake there. I'm going to go up to B now, okay? I'm going to start over. Okay, that gets you to the second measure of the second line. And so with that exercise, what you want to be listening for are clean transitions from notes. And you remember one of the ones that occurred, I believe, was from low G to B, right? So you're on low G and you're going to B. And what can happen if you're not careful, if you don't lift the fingers at the same time, is you can get this unwanted sound of what we want is clean transition. And what you do is you tell your brain, hey brain, tell this finger over here to raise up a little early. And really what you're not doing is lifting it up early, you're lifting it up simultaneously with the pinky so that they come up together and you get a clean sound, transitional sound like this. So be listening for that. Happy chantering!